Hello, ito si Attorney Chato Olivas. In this video, we're tackling one of the most confusing yet most crucial concepts in remedial law, and that is certiorari. Nagkakaroon to ng confusion kasi yung salitang certiorari ay ginagamit sa Rules of Court of the Philippines para itukoy ang two different remedies. Actually, as I will be explaining in this video, it is actually three remedies. So you have to stop thinking of it as a single procedure. I'll do my best to simplify this concept for you. The term certiorari is Latin. It means to be certified or to be informed. Historically, it was a command from a superior court to a lower court to send up its records for review. While this is the literal meaning, in modern legal practice, the term has evolved to refer to the entire legal action whose purpose is to annul, reverse, or modify the judgment based on those certified records. So ano yung mga core functions ng certiorari? Sa Philippine remedial law, may tatlong core functions. Number one, or function one, sabihin na natin, the appeal. And that is under Rule 45 of the Rules of Court. Ito ay isang mechanism for the Supreme Court to review and correct a lower court's errors of law. Emphasis, errors of law. Now, this is an appeal, plain and simple. Ibig sabihin ng error of law ay nagkamali ang court sa pag-interpret or pag-apply ng batas. The court has jurisdiction over the subject matter, but the decision is wrong. Dako tayo sa function 2, extraordinary writ under Rule 65. This is a special civil action that is used to correct errors of jurisdiction. Emphasis, errors of jurisdiction, not errors of law. Now, this is a supervisory tool designed to restore order when a judge or tribunal acts without authority. Kapag error of jurisdiction, ang ibig sabihin ay walang karapatan ang court na mag-decide sa ilalim ng batas. Kasi hindi ito sakop ng kaso sa kanyang jurisdiction over the subject matter. The court has no jurisdiction and therefore the decision is wrong. Dako tayo sa function number 3. Extraordinary writ under Rule 64. Rule 64 is a special civil action to review final judgments, orders, or resolutions of two constitutional bodies. That's the Commission on Elections, or the COMELEC, and the Commission on Audit, or the COA. And this applies when there are errors of jurisdiction. So emphasis ulit, errors of jurisdiction. In other words, ang Rule 64 certiorari ay tungkol lamang sa decisions ng COMELEC at COA. Hindi kasama ang Civil Service Commission, although that is a constitutional body. Okay, so to emphasize, Rule 45 addresses errors of law. Rule 65 addresses or errors of jurisdiction. Rule 64 also addresses errors of jurisdiction but only for COMELEC or COA decisions, final orders, or judgments. So ang goal natin ngayon ay simple lang, to make sure that you can look at any problem and immediately identify the context, whether to apply Rule 45, Rule 64, or Rule 65. So dako tayo sa Rule 45. Ang Rule 45 ay petition for review on certiorari. Ang tawag din dito ay appeal by certiorari. Na huwag kayong mako-confuse. So para hindi ma-confuse kayo at yung mga iba, pag tinutukoy ninyo ang Rule 45, kumpletihon ninyo. Sabihin ninyo, Rule 45 petition for review on certiorari. Or pwede rin, Rule 45 appeal by certiorari. Basta huwag kayong magsa-stop sa Rule 45. Ikumpleto ninyo, ilagay ninyo ano yung pangalan ng remedy na yon. Okay? So let's talk about Rule 45, petition for review on certiorari, also known as appeal by certiorari. Ito ay, obviously, mode of appeal sa Supreme Court. Bakit natin to kailangan i-emphasize? Kasi yung functions number 2 and 3 ng certiorari, these are not modes of appeal as we consider appeal. Okay? So, letter A, nature of the proceeding under Rule 45. This is a proceeding under the appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. So, this is how you reach the Supreme Court when there is a final judgment by a lower court, such as the RTC, Regional Trial Court, the CA, Court of Appeals, the CTA Unbank, that's the Court of Tax Appeals Unbank, Sandigan Bayan, or specific quasi-judicial bodies. Exclusive ang subject matter ng Rule 45, Appeal by Certiorari. Ito ay pure questions of law lamang. Okay? So the mandate of Rule 45 is narrow and absolute. It must raise only pure questions of law. Ano nga ba ang question of law? Ito ay when the issue is the correct interpretation or application of the law, as opposed to question of fact. Pag sinabing question of fact, ang pinag-uusapan ay ebidensya, hindi ang batas. Alright? So the golden rule is that the Supreme Court is not a trier of facts. Siyempre, that's a general rule. Okay? But for our discussion, we will apply the golden rule. The Supreme Court is not a trier of facts. Once the Court of Appeals or Sandigan Bayan has ruled on the facts, those findings are generally considered final and binding on the Supreme Court. If you submit a Rule 45 petition that requires the Supreme Court to re-examine the evidence and therefore the facts, that will be summarily dismissed. Now here we talk about the Supreme Court's discretionary power. Rule 45 is not a right. While it is an appeal, it is an appeal filed with the Supreme Court's discretionary appellate jurisdiction. And the time limit is a strict, non-extendable period of 15 days from notice of judgment sought to be reviewed, kaya appeal, the same period for filing an appeal, 15 days. Now, let's go to Rule 65, petition for certiorari, or what we know as certiorari proper. Okay? Now, this is an extraordinary writ. And a petition for certiorari under Rule 65 is not a mode of appeal. Ulitin ko. Under Rule 65, it is not a mode of appeal. It is a separate, independent lawsuit that challenges the very authority of the court that issued the order in question. This is a special civil action. It is an original action. Now, there are requisites for a Rule 65 petition. There must be a jurisdictional error. Anong ibig sabihin nito? The respondent tribunal or judge should have acted without jurisdiction or in excess of jurisdiction or with grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction. Ito yung tinatawag natin na jurisdictional triumvirate. So, ang target error ay ito. Under Rule 65, this is an error of jurisdiction. Under Rule 45, it is an error of judgment. Pag sinabi nating error of jurisdiction, there is grave abuse of discretion. Pag sinabi nating error of judgment, there is a mistake of law or a mistake of fact. What is the type of remedy? Ang Rule 65 is an extraordinary remedy and it is also supervisory in nature. Ang Rule 45, it is an ordinary remedy, it is an appeal, and it is a direct attack. So, dako tayo sa practical application. Tingnan natin ang mga case examples. To truly understand Rule 65, you must know the difference among the three types of jurisdictional errors. Tingnan natin ang concrete examples. Una, lack of jurisdiction. This means, well, pag sinabi nating jurisdiction, we are talking about jurisdiction over the subject matter. Kasi may iba-ibang klaseng jurisdiction. The other kind, for example, is jurisdiction over the person. We are not referring to lack of jurisdiction over the person in a Rule 65 petition for certiorari. We are referring to lack of jurisdiction over the subject matter. This means that the court has total absence of authority to act. So the court or tribunal has absolutely no legal power over the subject matter or the remedy granted. The court is legally incompetent to hear the case under existing law. Halimbawa, under existing law, the MTCs have subject matter jurisdiction over cases for a sum of money in the amount of 2 million pesos or less. So let us say the MTC passes upon a case in which the claim for sum of money is 2,100,000 pesos. This shows that the MTC has no subject matter jurisdiction to pass upon the case, since the sum of money is more than 2 million pesos. The RTC, not the MTC, has subject matter jurisdiction. Now, the second kind is excess of jurisdiction. Ito yung tinatawag na overreach of authority. This happens when the court has jurisdiction over the case but steps beyond the boundaries of its statutory power or the relief sought. The court possesses jurisdiction but exercises it in an unauthorized or unwarranted manner. A hypothetical example of grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction, which makes a Rule 65 petition for certiorari the proper remedy, often involves the court acting in an arbitrary, capricious, or whimsical manner that shocks the conscience and is so brazen that it is deemed an evasion of a positive duty or a virtual refusal to perform a duty enjoined by law. Okay? So, tandaan ninyo dito, ang phrase is grave abuse of discretion, hindi lang abuse of discretion. So, in order for a Rule 65 petition for certiorari to be applicable, the lower court or tribunal should have committed grave abuse of discretion. So, tignan natin ang hypothetical example. So, let's say we have a case. The regional trial court is hearing a complex case involving a claim of 3 million pesos in damages. The defendant presents definite, notarized, and unchallenged documents along with sworn testimony from 3 witnesses proving that the debt was fully paid 3 years ago, accompanied by an official bank release statement. In other words, so may claim ng 3 million pesos in damages. So ang defendant nagpresenta ng ebidensya na napakalakas na bayad na yung 3 million pesos na yon 3 years ago. Ang plaintiff presents only his own statement, his own affidavit, which is hearsay, meaning it's not based on personal knowledge and walang documentary evidence na sinasabi niya that the amount has not yet been paid. And then what does the RTC judge do? The RTC judge issues a decision that completely ignores and fails to mention even the defendant's mountain of documentary evidence and sworn testimony. The judge in his decision simply states the court finds the plaintiff's testimony more credible and orders the defendant to pay the full 3 million pesos. So dito malinaw that there was grave abuse of discretion. Okay? So let's now talk about grave abuse of discretion, that a discretion that was exercised in a capricious and whimsical manner. This is the most common ground, and this is also the most abstract. It is not an error of law or fact, but a whimsical, arbitrary, capricious deviation from the standard procedure or law, equivalent to acting without jurisdiction. So dito, sinasabi natin that the court acts in a despotic manner, totally disregarding the law or evidence, amounting to no judicial deliberation at all. So tingnan natin, ano ang isang example nito. Okay? Denial of the right to present evidence during a trial. Yan yung example natin. So halimbawa, merong case sa regional trial court for damages and the amount of damages being claimed is 2.5 million pesos due to breach of contract. So the trial has been going on. The plaintiff rested his case, and it is now the defendant's turn to present defense evidence. So anong nangyari? Nagkasakit yung defendant's counsel on the scheduled trial date. Nag-file siya ng urgent sworn motion for postponement at 8 a.m. attaching a medical certificate from a recognized hospital stating that he is confined. Ang ginawa ng judge, 30 minutes later, at the 8:30 a.m. hearing, without calling the case or allowing the party who was present and accompanied by a different lawyer for that particular motion, okay, without allowing that party to be heard, the judge immediately dictates an order from the bench stating, motion for postponement is denied. For lack of merit, the defendant's right to present evidence is deemed waived, and the case is now deemed submitted for decision. So dito napaka-obvious na there was a whimsical exercise of discretion. Dinenay niya yung motion, and the case was immediately closed and terminated without any justifiable reason. And there was a reckless disregard of the circumstances. Yung motion for a postponement was supported by a medical certificate. There is a valid and recognized ground for postponement, pero inignore ito ng judge. So yung action ng judge was arbitrary in nature. It violated due process. Okay? So ngayon, pag-usapan pa rin natin yung Rule 65. When a judge acts in a manner that is whimsical, capricious, or arbitrary, hindi niya pinaperform ang kanyang duty to the law according to the law but exercising his or her own will. And this is considered jurisdictional error. Bakit? Because the court is deemed to have acted outside the scope of its legal authority to administer justice fairly. And it is a virtual refusal to perform a duty enjoined by law, placing the court's action beyond mere error of judgment. Therefore, a petition for certiorari under Rule 65 would be the correct remedy to annul the judge's order, arguing that the denial of the right to present evidence constitutes grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction. Ngayon, dako naman tayo sa Rule 64. Ito yung tungkol sa review ng decisions, final orders and judgments of the COA and COMELEC. Ito ay ina-adapt yung Rule 65, and the basis for filing this is grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction. Now, this is filed exclusively with the Supreme Court. I am referring to a Rule 64 petition. If a-file mo siya directly with the Supreme Court, and there is a short time limit. Ang Rule 65, ang time limit niya is 60 days. Pero ang Rule 64 petition, ang time limit niya is within 30 days from notice of the decision. Okay? So ang procedure is Rule 65, ang time limit is Rule 64. Okay, so i-synthesize natin ito. There are, this is a simple test, and I would like to present you with a table para mga gamit ninyo to in your analysis of whether to apply Rule 45, Rule 65, at saka Rule 64. So, ang petition for review on certiorari, also known as appeal by certiorari, this is an appellate remedy to correct errors of law in the judgment, and you file this exclusively with the Supreme Court on pure questions of law. Time limit is within 15 days from notice. It is not extendable. Rule 65 is an original special civil action for certiorari, and the purpose is to correct errors of jurisdiction or grave abuse of discretion. This is an original action that can be filed with the RTC, CA, or Supreme Court. Itong mga courts na to ay may original concurrent jurisdiction. But of course, you have to observe the doctrine of hierarchy of courts. Ano yung doctrine of hierarchy of courts? By way of review, you go to the lowest court, do not go to the highest court. So kung mag-RTC ka, hindi ka pupunta sa Supreme Court immediately. Okay, bakit? Masyadong clogged yung dockets ng Supreme Court. Ayaw natin i-bother yung Supreme Court with cases that can be resolved by the lower courts. Pupunta lang tayo sa Supreme Court for cases of transcendental importance. Alright? Now, ang basis ng Rule 65 is grave abuse of discretion or lack of jurisdiction or excess of jurisdiction. And the time limit is 60 days from notice. Sa Rule 64 naman, this is a petition for review of judgments, final orders of the COMELEC or COA. So, hindi lahat ng mga gusto nating ipa-review ay pwede nating dalhin under Rule 64 in connection with Rule 65. Only when there is grave abuse of discretion. Okay? And this applies only to COA and COMELEC. You file this exclusively with the Supreme Court, and this is very strict. So, anong test na pwede natin i-apply para malaman which rule are we supposed to follow? Rule 45, Rule 65, or Rule 64? Run it through this simple test. Number 1, is the case filed with the Supreme Court as a regular mode of appeal to correct an error of law, typically from the Court of Appeals or Sandigan Bayan? Go for Rule 45. Number 2, is the case filed to challenge a judge or tribunal for acting whimsically outside their jurisdiction regardless of the correctness of their decision? Go to Rule 65. And third, is the tribunal the COMELEC or the COA? Go for Rule 64. Alright? So in conclusion, understanding these rules is not just about memorizing provisions. It's about understanding the structure of judicial review in the Philippines. The distinction between Rule 45 and Rule 65 is key to understanding the separation of functions. Trial and appellate courts focus on facts and judgment. The Supreme Court, through Rule 45, focuses on law, and through Rule 65, it exercises supervision and judicial restraint. Master the target error. Is it an error of law or an error of jurisdiction? And you will master the rules on certiorari. Keep listening to this video and do your best to understand it. It will make sense as you go along with your law studies. Again, this is Attorney Chato Olivas of Easy Law Online, making the law easier to understand. For now, I would like to share my favorite Bible verse with you, and that is from Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God. See you in the next video.